Yu-Gi-Oh! An incredibly complex card game with tens of thousands of cards. However, what if each set was separated from the rest of the massive card pool and your choices when building a deck were extremely limited? In this series, in order to learn Yu-Gi-Oh! From the ground up, I will be embarking on an adventure through the history of the card game with Jeexx. In each episode, we will have access to all the cards in a select product, and using only the cards in that product, both of us will build a deck before playing a best of 3 match to determine the winner of the episode. We will move in a chronological order in the series, and with each new episode we will forget the cards of the past in order to experience something brand new. We hope you enjoyed this adventure through Yu-Gi-Oh! And its evolution with us. Welcome to the historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning journey. What is up, ladies and fellas, and welcome back to the historic Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning journey. Sorry if I sound a little off, but I'm recording this, I'm running on 2 hours of sleep, but I still decided to record this anyway, so apologies if I stumble across my words or the like. But today we're doing Gates of the Underworld as well as Little Sanctuary, the structure decks. So let's take a look at what they house, and let's start with Gates of the Underworld. And this is the deck that I'm going to be playing, and we've seen Dark Worlds before, so this is the Dark World structure deck. But there are some new cards here, I'm going to refer to these basically like Dark World discard effects, and then talk about the additional ones. Actually, yeah, I'll just talk about discards and then talk about the additional ones when they're relevant. The new big boss is Grapha Dragon, Dragon Lord of the Dark World, who you can special summon from your grave by returning a Dark World monster you control to the hand except a Grapha. And if discarded the grave by a card effect, you pop one of your opponent's cards, and then if your opponent discarded this card, then you can spell summon one monster from your opponent's hand. So now, if discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, adds a Dark World to your hand, and if it was discarded by your opponent's effect, then you can also special a monster from your opponent's grave. Problem-solving card text makes this a nightmare to read, but that is what the effects actually do. Surely, when discarded, I'll just refer to this like if discarded to the graveyard by a card effect. Basically, all Dark Worlds share this except for the Vanillas and a couple other exceptions. So I'll just talk about the Dark World discard effect. So, Cerule's Dark World discard effect is a special summons to your opponent's field in defense position, and then makes your opponent discard a card, which means that the one discarding Cerule. Scar, I think we've seen when destroyed by battle, it can add a level 4 lower Dark World from your deck to your hand. Kaki and Gran, when discarded to your grave, either pop a monster or a spell. These are both mandatory effects. Brow, when discarded, draws a card and draws 2 instead if your opponent was the one that made you discard it. Beige simply spell summons itself from the grave on discard. Brawn makes you, or allows you to discard a card when inflicting battle damage on your opponent. Silva and Gold are both level 5, with 2300 attack that spell summon themselves from the grave when discarded there. And then Silva makes your opponent put 2 cards from their hand to the bottom of their deck, and Gold pops 2 of their cards. If these get discarded by your opponent's effects. And then Rainbow gets special summoned from the grave only if discarded from your hand to your grave by your opponent's effect. And then if summoned this way, then it pops all their traps or all their monsters. But very importantly, this only works on your opponent's discarding your stuff. Then you have other stuff here. You have stuff that we've seen multiple times now. Trag, Sangan, Nudoria, and Gravescomber are there as well if you want to go 1-for-1. So you have Battle Faders. I'm not sure if we had Gates of the Dark World last time. Gives all Fiend monsters. What am I talking about? Fiend monsters a small stat bump, and also once per turn you can banish a Fiend from your grave to discard a Fiend and draw 1. Dark World Lightning we've seen pop set monsters, makes you discard. Gateway, you can get stuff back from your grave. Dark World Dealings and Allure card Destruction. These are all cards that we've seen multiple times. Terraforming, same thing there as well. Dark Corruption, not really relevant. Dark Scheme is a weird I would in most cases consider this like a worse dealings. I don't know if it's worth being run. Force of Darkness, some nice recursion, Deck Devastation, Virus, and Eradicator Epidemic Virus if you want to go for the virus cards. Mind Crash also here as well. Dark Deal, basically you can make one of your opponent's spells instead have you discard, which obviously is good for you. Escape from the Dark Dimension if you want to recur banish stuff, and then Dark Bribe makes your opponent draw a card, but then counters their spell or trap and destroys it. Sorry, that was a lot. Hopefully we can get through Lost Sanctuary a little faster. So the boss monster of Lost Sanctuary is Master Hyperion, who can be spell summoned from your hand by banishing one agent monster from your hand, field, or graveyard. So basically anywhere. And then you can banish a light fairy from your graveyard and target one card on the field and destroy it. And you can activate this effect up to twice per turn if Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field. Otherwise you can only use it once. Then I can't remember what agents we've seen before, so I'll just quickly skim over their effects. Earth, a normal summon adds an agent monster from your deck to your hand, except itself, and you can add a Master Hyperion if you have Sanctuary in the Sky in the field. Jupiter makes you able to banish once per turn an agent from your grave to give an attack boost to one of your fairies, and you can also discard a fairy monster to target one of your banished life fairies to spell summon one of the banished ones back. But this can also only be used with Sanctuary in the Sky in the field. Saturn, I think, is the oldest of the agent cards. I want to say it's from the first cycle. And you contribute this card to burn your opponent equal to a difference of your opponent's life points when your LP is higher than the opponent's. And then you must control Sanctuary in the Sky to resolve this effect, and you can't conduct your battle phase during the turn. Mercury is awful. Venus can summon Mystic Shine Balls, which are these whatever vanillas, but you can obviously thin your deck, and by paying 1500 life points get 3 additional bodies on the field. Mars, unaffected by spells or effects, spell cards or effects, sorry, and while you're currently Sanctuary in the Sky and your LP are higher than your opponent's, Mars gains the difference stats. Splendid Venus, kind of whatever, it's a level 8 niche attributes, it's not worth it. Same with stuff like Tethys, Victoria, it's not here, it's anti-dragon stuff. Athena burns your opponent when you're summoning fairy monsters, but I don't know if it's worth to be run. Marshmallow, though, a level 3 that cannot be destroyed by battle, and after damage calculation, if the card was attacked and was in face down, your opponent gets burned for 1000. Handkerchiefs you can discard to add Valhalla, Hall of the Fallen, which we'll talk a little bit, and then Zaradius, Herald of Heaven, which I feel like talking now as well. You can discard it to add a Sanctuary in the Sky from your deck to your hand. And then on field, it's a 2100 beater, but it gets pop if Sanctuary in the Sky is not on the field. Shining Angel, Arcanite Parshat, Nova Summoner, we've seen these multiple times. Just, Parshat's just a classic Shining Angel Nova Summoner there to thin your deck on us there as obviously a good hand trap. And then for this matchup, one of the craziest cards, Consecrated Light, which prevents neither player from normaling or specialing dark monsters or declaring an attack with dark monsters, and this card also cannot be destroyed by battle with a dark monster, and you take no damage from the battle. You can still set, but basically this is, hey, dark players cannot play the game. Curse of the Sky is a way to draw 2, but you can't special summon nor conduct your battle phase. The turn you activate this, and you need to banish a light fairy. Valhalla of the Fallen gives you a special summon each turn, given that you don't have already a monster on the field. Terraforming there to add Sanctuary in the Sky. Sanctuary in the Sky, obviously the core piece for the deck. Battle damage to the control of a fair monster from a battle involving the monster always becomes 0. So basically just, protects you from battle damage for the most part. Special Guard is there as a decent removal option. Celestial Transformation if you want something for the turn. I don't know if this is really relevant. Since we have extra deck stuff in these structure decks, since it also has the attack, so being able to Celestial for a game probably shouldn't come up. Burial's there if you want to recur more if your banished stuff back. Mausoleum I don't think is going to show up because, you know, obviously you want Sanctuary instead. And Solidarity, since basically everything here is a fairy, you can get actually some pretty nice boosts here. Return from the different dimension I think is what you actually run if you want to recur your banished stuff, since by paying half your life points you spell summon as many of your removed from play monsters as possible. And then they go back to banishing well during the end phase of the turn. When you activated this card, but if you activated this card, you're most likely winning. So, Torrential Tribute obviously there as a incredibly good mass removal tool as well. Back on the light if you want to filter a hand. I don't know if it's really worth it. Miraculous doesn't matter. And then Solemn Judgment. So, actually a lot of power here as well. I think these might be like the closest match in terms of structure decks that we've had thus far. I think like these are actually very close. The only thing there is that Consecrated Light, if it like comes up early, is gonna be really hard to deal with. If it comes up later, I don't know if it's gonna be relevant at that point. But if Jeexx opens turn 1 Consecrated Light, then the games might be miserable. But all that being said, though, hopefully you enjoyed the very lengthy set breakdown. Sorry, there was a lot to talk about here, and I was stumbling across my words. And I'll see you on the deck building section next.
Okay, so Lost Sanctuary versus Gates of the Underworld, I think it's called. Might be Gates of the Underworld or Gates of the Darkworld. Either or. It's gonna be light versus dark, as per usual, you know. Considering that I'm the protagonist, the good guy, you know, the fellow that plays the good cards, that doesn't play the Black Wings or the Six Samurais or the, you know. So I'm kind of sick, as you can probably hear from my voice. I'm gonna try to make this kind of quick. So let's get right into it. We have Hecatus, which searches for Valhalla, Hall of the Fallen, which is a card that we've seen before, which has the effect of you can spell summon a fairy monster once per turn if you control no monsters. Then we have Honest, basically a light combat trick. You discard it when a monster is battling, a light monster is battling, and then the light monster gains the attack of the monster that it's battling. Hyperion is a new card for agents. It's the core piece of this deck. It has the effect of you can spell summon this card from your hand by banishing the agent monster from your field, hand, or graveyard. You can banish one light fairy monster from your graveyard and target one card on the field and destroy it. While Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, you can activate this effect up to twice per turn. So Sanctuary in the Sky is back. Sanctuary in the Sky is back, and it is like another core piece of the deck. Nova Summoner is a Shining Angel, so basically summons a level 1 light fairy monster with 1500 less attack from your deck, and if you have Sanctuary in the Sky on the field, it summons Air Knight Parshat, which is not going to be relevant. You can. It's specifically you can. It doesn't force you to summon it, but you can summon it. Shining Angel, it's a tutor. We've seen this a billion times. It's recruiter, sorry. Soul of Purity and Light, it can spell summon itself by banishing 2 light monsters from the graveyard, and all your opponent's monsters lose 300 attack during their battle phase only. Jupiter, Agent of Miracles. Once per turn, you can banish 1 agent from your graveyard to target 1 light fairy monster you control, and then that target gains 800 attack until the end of this turn. Once per turn, you can discard 1 fairy to target 1 banished light fairy and special summon it. And Sanctuary in the Sky must be on the field to activate that last effect. Earth, Agent of Mystery. When this card is normal summon, you can add the agent card from your deck to your hand, and if Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field, you can also add a Hyperion instead. Zeradius, when you can discard this card from your hand to the graveyard and search for a Sanctuary in the Sky. And if Sanctuary in the Sky is not on the field, you destroy this card if it is on the field. Solidarity, we've seen this card a couple times. If you have a fairy, if you have only one original type of monster in your graveyard, in this case it's gonna be fairy, of course. All monsters of that type get 800 attack. Sanctuary in the Sky, if you control a fairy monster, you don't take battle damage involving those monsters. Divine Punishment, you can omni-negate anything as long as Sanctuary in the Sky is on the field. Miraculous Descent, target one of your banished fairy monsters and spell summon it, and if this gets popped, the monster gets popped, and vice versa. Return from the different dimension, pay half your life points, spell summon as many of your banished monsters as possible, and during the end phase, banish all the monsters that were spell summoned by this effect. Solemn Judgment, pay half your life points, omni-negate, pretty much, well, not an omni-negate, you negate a summon or a spell trap card. Torrential Tribute, and destroy all monsters when a monster is summoned. Consecrated Light, which is most in the sideboard because of the fact that if I Being the good guy I am, end up in a bad situation in game 2 or 3, I'll just put Consecrate Light in, and hopefully that'll win me the game. Sorry. Another play can normal or spell summon dark monsters or declare attacks with dark monsters. This card cannot be destroyed by battle with a dark monster. Also, you take no battle damage from that battle. So basically, this card is just bullshit. And I kind of feel like we should have just gentleman this out, but I don't remember why we didn't do it. I think we were thinking, oh, there's ways to deal with this. But yeah. Smashing Ground, destroy one face of monster your opponent controls with the highest defense. Terraforming, the Fountain in the Sky. When a light monster is destroyed by battle and sent to the graveyard, you can banish it to gain life points equal to its attack. More Sanction in the Sky copies, Valhalla, Divine Punishment, Return from the Divine Mansion, and Torrential Tribute. That about does it. That's a fairly fast deck breakdown. Anyhow, good luck with the games.
And guys and gals, welcome back, and here's what we are playing today. Don't mind Master Hyperion pulled there, we'll talk about that in a little bit. And yeah, I think it's a pretty standard Dark World list for the structure deck, so yeah, let's go through the deck, and this definitely shouldn't take as long as the set breakdown. Sorry once again for making that go so long. But I mostly explained a lot of the cards there, so we don't have to go into detail here unless there's some actual need for it. But let's go card by card, starting with the Grapha, which is our big payoff, our big boss monster that we want to get into circulation. And after that, we can basically just, well, as long as we get Dark Worlds on the field, we can keep bouncing them back to our hand to get Grapha out of the grave, which also gives us pops but when it gets discarded. So basically, like, you get Grapha into circulation, you discard it, you get a pop, then you get a Dark World on the field, you get Grapha back, you get that back on your hand. Yeah, you get to use it for discard effects if you want to, and then you'll have a 2700 beat stick on the field as well, which is pretty nice, especially for the time. Snow is there for consistency. The secondary effects I won't even bother talking about here because they should never come up really, unless I, really want to get funny with Dark Deal, which we have 2 copies in the side, but there aren't that many like normal spells that I'm expecting Jeexx to play, apart from stuff like Terraforming, maybe Smashing Ground, sorry. So I don't think it's that relevant, so they're mostly as a meme. But most of the time Snow is just we discard it and we get to add a Dark World from our deck to our hand. And specifically it's a Dark World card. It doesn't even need to be a monster, which is very nice, because that basically means that Snow gives us access to almost all of our deck. 2 copies of Scar, a third one in the side deck as well. These are there to further add cards to our hand. Mostly we're probably going to be adding Snow with Scar, unless we really desperately need to get rid of something, then we might need to add something like Kaki or Gren, but most of the time we're going to be adding Snow. On Run 2, since it specifically needs to be the short battle, which will easily happen earlier on, but when Jeexx establishes Master Hyperion, he's most likely just going to be popping all of our things, because we also have access to stuff like Nudori and Quakeswarmer that he doesn't really want to be swinging into. So, that's why I didn't want to max him out. A 3-brow, this is simply here to replace itself and get us a Dark World in the grave. We discard it, we get whatever effect we're discarding it for, and we get a draw from it, and it replaces itself, which is nice. 3 Kaki and 3 Gran. Gran pops spell traps, and Kaki pops monsters on discard. Hyperion is a bastard and needs to get dealt with. And additionally, I think it was Mars or Jupiter. I think it was Mars that was unaffected by spell effects. So having other ways to actually removing monsters as well is nice. And obviously the whole Lost Sanctuary deck, like, it largely revolves around what's his face, Sanctuary in the Sky. So if nothing else, we'll have a way to pop Sanctuary in the Sky with the Gren. Then we have 2 silver, 2 gold. The secondary effects should never matter, so these don't really matter. So I ended up just putting 2 of each in. They just spell summon themselves when discarded to grave. They spell summon themselves back. And importantly, our fuel for our deck devastation virus, which since these are most of the time going to be what we are distributing for it, those in addition to Grapha, is going to be a deck devastation virus where we have distributed a dark monster with 2000 or more attack, and after that we'll look at our opponent's hand, all monsters they control and all the cards they draw until the end of their third turn after discard activation, and destroy all the monsters with 1500 or less attack. This hits most of what I'm expecting Jeexx to play, apart from stuff like Master Hyperion. Then there was the 1800. It was the other one from the one that I was just talking about, Mars or Jupiter. It hits basically everything else, which is a lot. And obviously, you know, these are just 2300 bodies for us, which if we can turn into card advantages through deck devastation virus is insane. And then obviously the best possible scenario is Grapha, because, you know, we get Grapha's discard, we pop something, we get it in the grave, we can summon it by bouncing something back to our hand. Then if we can attribute it for deck virus, we'll have it in the grave, and then we'll have another opportunity to get one of our Dark Worlds back to our hand to get Grapha into circulation again. So I'm expecting deck dev to actually be a sleeper, insane card here. But let's finish our monster lineup. We have 2 drag, a third one in the side as well. Level 10, we've seen drag multiple times. Basically, it gains power. It gains stats equal to the cards in our hand, 600 for each card, but more importantly, you can send a monster from your hand to graveyard and target a face monster with the same level the sent monster had. Unfortunately, this is it sends, it doesn't discard, so it doesn't activate our stuff, but importantly, Grapha is 8 and Master Hyperion is 8, so we'll get Grapha into the grave, we don't get the pop, but instead of popping Master Hyperion, we'll now have access to his Master Hyperion, which is obviously better, since we won't have, obviously, Fairies in our grave, so we can't use this effect, which is sad, because this only needs Sanctuary in the Sky to be on the field. It doesn't be on our field specifically, but unfortunately, we don't really have Fairies for it. But, you know, taking it out from Jeexx's hands is obviously great. And then a single grave scorer, 2 more in the side as well. Kind of for the same reason as Scarf, since, you know, they need to be destroyed by battle to get their effects off. So if those happen a lot, grave scorer is going to be good. But I'm not expecting Jeexx to all game just swing into all of my stuff blindly. So that's why I didn't want to max out on him either. But being able to target any card on battle destruction is nice. And obviously being 0/0 means it's always getting popped, so I still wanted to have access to it. And I guess we'll talk about our site's last monsters here, because I've kind of been jumping around all over the place. So we have 2 beige, just if we need more bodies. As for the spell drops, 3 Gates of the Dark World, and a terraforming, a second one in the side as well to find it. Gives a small power boost. Very importantly, means that Grapha can beat over Hyperion now. And then gives us access to our discard effects and also additional cards via the card effects. We can just banish stuff that we don't care about in the grave anymore, get an additional draw, get an additional discard. It just does everything the deck wants to do. Dark Word Lightning, targets a card on the field, destroys it, and discards a card. Jeexx has access to Torrential Tribute, Solemn Warning, Consecrated Light. He would probably, actually, would he be setting it? He probably wouldn't be setting it, actually, because he doesn't take battle damage. That was what I was thinking, that this is good for that, but I mean, it's still good, because, like, our chance of hitting something good blind in his back row are incredibly high. And obviously, you know, once again, getting discards, it's very nice. Dark Word Dealings, very simple, replaces, gives us a discard effect and also replaces then the card that we discard. Card Destruction does the same thing, but our entire hand, and obviously these both also disrupt Jeexx's hand as well. But obviously, Hyperion can banish stuff from anywhere, so it doesn't really matter. But if he hits multiple copies of Hyperion, like, that would be insane. Eventually, if he hit, like, 2 Hyperion card destruction, that would be insane. Additional draw stuff, we have 2 Allure in our site, if I feel like I need more draws. But obviously, these banish stuff, so that's resources that we then don't have access to. So initially, I didn't want to put them in, and I'll be signing into them if I feel like I need more draw. I have a single The Voice of Darkness and in the main and a second one in the side, which just adds 2 Dark World monsters from your grave to your hand. It has to be 2. It's not up to 2. It has to be specifically 2. So if we only have 1, we can't activate it. But this is just, if the games are running slow, this lets us get more stuff. Lets us obviously reuse our discard effects. It's just very powerful. And we already talked about deck dev, which we have 2 in the main and 1 more in the side if we feel like going for it. And the final card that I very briefly skimmed over was Dark Seam, which kind of a meme. You're trying to get discard 1 card to negate this effect, otherwise both players discard 2 and draw 2. I don't think Jeexx would ever let this go off, and like I said, like he doesn't mind like individual small discards, so I don't think this is worth it. I'd rather just play dealings. But yeah, I think pretty simple. I said like this wouldn't take long. It still took me 10 minutes. I apologize for that. But I'm actually very excited to be playing this deck, and I guess like that's also why it ran so long, because I think this is maybe the structure deck that I've been the most excited to play thus far. I just think Dark Worlds are pretty neat, and the play pattern is, you know, pretty simple, at least for the time being, for now, for our format. And, you know, I like just having cool stuff happen when I'm not thinking too much. So, hopefully you enjoyed the deck breakdowns, sorry. No deck building was here. Deck building happens every Sunday on Jeexx Twitch channel if you want that. But deck breakdowns, hopefully you enjoyed them. And once again, sorry for the brain rot. Next time I'll be back with hopefully more than 2 hours of sleep. So we'll see you in the dueling zone next. What is up, ladies and lads, and welcome back to History Yu-Gi-Oh! Learning Journey. And we are back with another structure deck episode with Gates of the Underworld and Lost Sanctuary, which Jeexx is going to be piloting the latter one, and I'm going to be seeing what's behind the gates underneath, and if we could lose Jeexx in our sanctuary.
What the fuck? That was a good attempt, but
it started strong, but then
you should have stopped. You know,
it started strong. If I just said, you know, what's behind the gates, then I feel like
you got lost, man. You got lost. I can't tell you anything else. Yeah.
I got lost in the sauce. But yeah, just a heads up. Jeexx still struggling with an ulcer, so
oh no, this is gonna break the kayfabe. They're gonna realize that I recorded the deck breakdown yesterday.
Oh no.
Oh no, the kayfabe.
The fame. No, you know, so, sometimes you gotta peel back the curtain a little bit.
But Triple H didn't hate those guys.
I bet someone wouldn't even have realized unless you said that, so now we're gonna blame you on that.
I mean, Yu-Gi-Oh players, you know?
Yeah.
Understanding context clues impossible.
Couldn't be me. But what could be me is actually Google Coin Flip giving me heads today. So you love to see it. Over. Anyways, best of luck to you, gamer. A clean 40 cards for both of us, huh? Interesting. Well, I guess. We'll set, and we'll just immediately send a card destruction.
Oh, that is unfortunate.
Ooh, a judgment. You love to see it. One Hyperion. Solidarity.
That is unfortunate.
Return. Oh yeah, that's okay. Yeah, that's rough for you. And for me, it is a snow and a brow. So I'll draw one and I'll add one. I guess I'll just do the draw first.
Okay.
Since then I can just do, you know, the actual wait, because card destruction.
Card destruction forces you to draw now. And
yeah. So
wait,
that's actually, wait, is it the other way around? Because it's
one of these is mandatory. So I think both of them are mandatory. So you get to decide which happens first.
Yeah, I mean,
but card destruction resolves, and then you draw 2, and then you activate these effects.
Yeah. So I mean, obviously, then I'll first grab a. It's a Dark World. Yeah, it's just Dark World. And
so chain link 1 brow and chain link 2 snow.
Important.
Yeah, sure, yeah.
If I Ash Blossom now, it works on Snow, but it doesn't work on Brow.
Sure. And I guess we'll just add a. Actually, kind of interesting. I think I'll add. Sure. We'll add a silver to hand.
Yep.
And then I'll draw for brown. Then let's
Let's do the time warp again.
let's do Gates of the Dark World
Ah,
and Dark World Dealings.
okay.
So both draw and both discard. And I'll pitch my Silva, which will summon it, so I'll just skip a step and I'll just get Silva here.
Yep.
And then I think that'll just do it for me. And we'll pass.
Okay. All fiend monsters gain 300 attack and defense.
And on your draw step, I'd like to deck Devastation Virus.
Doesn't 500 or less. Just double check. On call cards to draw until. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. So yeah, Hecatrice and Earth gets done to this Sanctuary. Oh yeah, and Nova Summon. So you have a Hyperion, Sanctuary in the Sky, and Jupiter. Okay.
I can't send more for some reason. There we go. And I will activate.
If you're fine, I'll just keep deck Deva here for the time being, so we can just track it.
Yep, sure.
So it's Sank, Hyperion, and Jupiter. Correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct.
I'm
thinking, because.
By the way, I fucking hate the virus cards. They're one of my least favorite card lines in the entire game. I think they're so degenerate.
Okay. I would like to special summon Hyperion by banishing a... No, not that. By banishing a... Earth from my... No, yeah, an Earth from my graveyard, because it's an agent.
Yep.
Is this acceptable?
Yep.
Okay, then I would like to activate Sanctuary in the Sky.
Yep.
I would like to banish 2. Double checking. 2 Light Fairies from my graveyard.
Probably the 2 cards that I have, I'm assuming?
Yes.
Yeah. So Gates is gone and Dark World Lightning is gone.
And then we're also in combat. No, we're in combat. Go face and go face.
Yep. Don't let the virus fool you. There is nothing on my board.
Yep.
All right. Draw standby. Made. Well. Let us start by activating Gates of the Dark World.
Yep.
Then we will use the effect and we'll banish from our grave Barrow in order to pitch Garen to pop Sank, and then we'll get the draw from Gates. And then we will.
Oh, it pops now and then. Chain.
Yeah. We'll just set this and we will. I'll pass on that. And thanks
Okay.
to deck dev, I get to see what you draw.
I'm going to just activate it for you, so you
Sure.
don't have to think about it. I would like to pop your face down.
Yeah, and that'll be plenty enough.
Yep.
Damn, even true deck dev, that is youch.
Yeah, I happen to have pretty much the only card alongside Hyperion that didn't get ass blasted by the
Yeah.
Devastation virus.
Yeah. Hyperion is
But
just
you
scary.
know what?
Hmm?
I have decided you don't have rights.
Okay.
Yeah, I
Oh,
did not enjoy that. You did this. Remember.
sure, man. Okay, let's go sign for game 2. And I think that'll be for me. I'll be honest, even with that start, you winning that game does not instill me with confidence in this matchup.
Don't worry. Don't worry. It's a very fair matchup, I assure you.
I'm sure. Well, this is way more awkward, but I'm just gonna set one and pass.
Okay. I go standby main. I will activate Valhalla Hall of the Fallen.
Ooh,
And I would like
that's pretty good.
to special summon from my hand. Let's actually think about this for a moment. I have to do that. I will special summon Hyperion.
Yep.
And then I will normal summon Consecrated Light.
Yep.
Yep. And then I will attack into the Grave Squirmer or Newdoria. Oh, that is unfortunate. Then I will set to Empass. Now, I do declare I did not play a single copy of Consecrated Light in the main deck in game 1.
Interesting.
But then I lost 4 cards from my hand, and I was like, I don't like that.
You lost 4 cards for your hand, and you still won
And I
because
won.
Hyperion is a beast. Also, I would like to point out you once again opened Hyperion in your starting hand.
I have figured them though. Don't worry.
I also have 3 Grapha, but let's just say that no signs of Grapha.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we'll start. Yeah, honestly, I literally just have to pass.
That is sad. I poke.
Yep.
I pass.
You've gotta be fucking joking.
Did you draw 3 Grapha now? Or...
I mean, I literally need to dig. I'll activate gates.
Yep.
Is that okay?
No.
Fair enough. We did damage, let's go! And, yep, that'll be it for my turn.
Okay. Standby. Main. Something. I'll set 2 cards. I will normal summon Honest, and I would like to swing using Honest and Hyperion.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would like to return to my hand uh, Honest.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would like to actually activate these, but I will activate 2 copies of Solidarity, and I will pass.
Interesting. That is certainly very
They
interesting.
don't work anything right now. They don't do because I don't have a card with the printed type.
Oh yeah, sure. You need to have something.
Yeah, that's why
That's
I didn't
true.
activate them to finish you off.
Well, I mean, the only thing we can do here is there's only one target for Darkward Lightning, so I'd like to pop your back row. That is
Yep.
set. And I will pitch for this bro. Because I need to dig. I would like to activate Darkward Dealings.
Oh.
Drawing 1. And
Yeah.
discarding from my hand. Does this do anything? Okay, is there... Yeah, it has to be snow that I just drew. Which then I will
I have not discarded yet. Don't do anything.
add to my hand another Dark World.
I'll discard the Solemn Judgment pocket.
Yeah. Which will be... It has to be, right? Yeah, it has to be. Oh. Graph it to hand.
Yep.
And then I will activate the Force of Darkness. And I'll add back to my hand Bro and Snow.
That's sand. Yep.
Doesn't really matter here.
Credit destruction.
And then I will set this, and I will pass.
That is... I will attack into this face down using Consecrated Light.
Mm-hmm. It is a Brow.
I activate Honest. I gain the attack of Brow.
Yep.
And I also gain the 1600 attack.
Yeah.
From...
And that'll be it.
Yeah.
What a fun fucking game.
This is a...
Yeah, I just...
Yeah.
I got so... I mean, game 1 you were just like... You just giga sacked. But game 2 I just got so shafted by Consecrated Light. Because,
this is not a fair matchup in the slightest.
Yeah, I was expecting this to go like this because Consecrated Light is basically just like, okay, my deck can't play. Because, there are a few cards that you can find to deal with it, but they are so few and far between that. This is never going to be a fair matchup, but...
I think if you had, like, actually hit something like a Grave Squirmer, this could have been fine. Because Grave Squirmer was the one card that I was worried about, and that's why I summoned Hyperion and Consecrated Light, and why I also poked it with Consecrated Light first. Because I wanted to check, okay, what is going to happen when I run into this thing? And it's Grave Squirmer. I mean, you have 2 options, but one of them is the only correct option in the situation. So I'm obviously going to try my best to prevent you from actually killing my Consecrated Light with it.
Yeah.
So I'll just poke into it with Consecrated Light, see what it is, and if it is a Grave Squirmer, I leave it there because it can't attack.
The problem here just was that Squirmer and my other Searcher both needed to be destroyed by battle, and I mean, obviously, you opening Hyperion both games was just insanely unlucky for me. But still, like, Hyperion just means that I never get those effects off. But
I mean, to be fair, if I had got Earth off on the second turn, if you hadn't done the Epidemic, it would have also had a Hyperion in my hand because I would
Yeah.
have played Sanctuary in the Sky and then done that. And then I would have had a weaker board overall because I would have had to probably banish Earth to do anything. But
Yeah. I mean, second game was just me being unlucky, but the first game, I just, it's unreal that you won that game. I basically got the perfect start, minus having Grapha. If I had Grapha, access to Grapha, then sure. If I had one more way to discard, then I could have like instead of, or if I had access to one more Dark World, then instead of Silva, I could have gotten Grapha, so I could have gotten Grapha into circulation, which would have then been obviously much better. But
Yeah.
I just ran out of gas, and then I just got punched twice and died, which unfortunate. I'm mostly sad because this is like one of the archetypes that I was like most excited to play, and these just end up being like I'm literally just sitting here and getting beat up, not being able to play the game. But that's Yu-Gi-Oh for you.
I think they get support. Not even like super deep into the game. I think they get support in the next
They definitely get
like next era,
and
like in Arc V at least. I think they.
and then they get stuff in like super recently. I think it's like 2023 or 2022.
Yeah.
Where they also get like actually the good. I think it was a structure deck actually as well.
Yeah, they get a structure deck R, which is what they've been doing for a lot of cards. Yeah, Photon Shockwave has support for Dark Worlds. So you can choose between playing your favorite archetype or Dark Worlds.
Well,
I wonder.
we'll have to see. Those, wait, yeah, this, and yeah.
And then there's also Dark World Brainwashing, which is in Code of the Duelist, which is a long time away.
Yeah, they'll reel their head back, but there's also and probably will, like, this is one of those archetypes that I think already that I might want to give another shot, and when we get to the next anniversary episode, and it's gonna be another 50 episode worth of stuff, then Dark World probably will show up there. And if I end up rolling a Dark World into Consecrated Light in the anniversary episode, then at that point it's just at that point
it was not meant to
it
be.
was meant to be. Yeah,
no.
Exactly.
Unfortunate.
Yeah, that's how Yu-Gi-Oh goes sometimes. And I mean, I've been on the other side sacking and nothing, like no plays mattering at all because of that before, so I shouldn't complain. And if anything, like if I were to have a short episode, then it might as well be today, so your voice gets to recover, so at least that we have that.
Yeah, much appreciated. Thank you for throwing this for the sake of my health. Yeah,
definitely. No biggie.
You're the bigger man in this case. Thank you.
Yeah, but yeah, like I said, shorter episode today, because usually we'd, especially when it's shorter games like this, we'd ramble on afterwards, but we'd much rather let Jeexx rest his voice, because I have my dad gets ulcers a lot, and I don't know if it's something to do with genes, but I also get them decently often, and they're terrible, and the worst thing you can do is to actually strain them, which, given the position you sometimes have them, means that you don't want to speak. So to let Jeexx rest his voice and the McDulsa go away, I think we're just gonna call it there. I'll try to make because this time we're doing the deck breakdowns after, I'll try to make at least mine shorter, so the episode will overall just be shorter. It's not just 70% it goes into deck breakdowns. But at the same time, since I didn't get to show basically anything the deck does here, I'll probably want to explain some things that the deck could do. But like I said, given the nature how this went and how this is one of the archetypes that I was most interested in playing, I'll probably give it another go next time around we get a chance to do that. So look forward to that. But with all that being said, usually this is where I'd ask Jeexx if he wants to add anything. And do you want to add anything?
I won through sheer competitive skill
True.
and talent, and I am so gifted.
That is
I
true.
Yeah,
The winner takes it all, the loser standing small, and whatever ABBA said in their
kill
song.
me now.
That's, that's the way the cookie crumbles
Wait,
sometimes, but...
wait before wait,
Oh,
never mind. What's next?
the next set is Photon Shockwave.
So what are we gonna see next set?
The greatest monster ever printed in the history of Yu-Gi-Oh! The coolest monster and the coolest archetype. Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon.
Oh, slightly based.
Yeah, Galaxy is my favorite archetype. Galaxy Photon is dog shit at the start. You will, I promise you, there will be Galaxy Photon Dragon in my deck, one way or another. But what the rest of the shell looks like, no promises there, because
Hear me out.
they're the superstars.
You could play Dark Worlds as an engine to facilitate summoning Galaxy Eyes Photon Dragon.
Just to humor you and get a little bit of length into the episode, I'll humor you and let's take a look. Photon Shockwave. How many Dark World cards are in this set? Dark World has a single card.
A single card.
Latinum Exarch of Dark World, which, if discarded to graveyard by a card effect, you special summon this card, and the other shit does not matter. It is a level 6 that does not even have 2000 attack, so you can use this shit. So you're literally putting this in just so you can play.
You can play Sylvis
Dark Worlds
and Graphos.
Then you're putting in the other garbage, 20 off, and then you're trying to find 19 cards around it. Obviously, some of them being the Galaxy stuff, but I'll be honest, that will not happen. My ass is not playing Dark World with a single Dark World card apparent in the set, and just going full Legacy support. You'll have to wait until the next anniversary episode, or if they, I'm actually not sure if they show up in Duel Terminal, but
not from what I'm seeing.
Okay,
not at all. Like the next set that they actually do show up is in Primal Origin in the OCG.
Huh. Okay.
But not in the TCG. Wait.
Well, in that case, thank you, Jeexx, for ruining my one chance of possible playing this archetype that I've been interested to play, and ruining my day. So
okay, but like in Primal Origin, they get a card called Lucent, which has 2,400 attack, and if it was discarded to the graveyard by a card effect, you can special summon it, and then if it was discarded by an opponent, you can special summon a fiend from your deck.
The discarded by opponent stuff is never, it doesn't matter. But
what if I play Dark World Dealings, because Dark World Dealings is in the set? Think about it.
Sure, man.
Think.
Anyways, I'm depressed now. I'm sad. Jeexx ruined my day. So normally I would wish him a speedy recovery, but I'm not going to do that because I am sad. So instead, I'll just thank you for watching this episode. And we'll see you next week for another installment of the Yu-Gi-Oh! Podcast. Because that's, nobody cares about the games because this is the quality of the games that you get. You're here for the banter after the games when we talk about random bullshit and discuss why Magic the Gathering is dog shit and other stuff like that. But with all that being said, hopefully you enjoyed the episode regardless using Rising Intonation, because if you could do that, then hey, nice. I had one good turn, so, clip it and ship it, I guess. Smile. Yeah. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next week for Photon Shockwave. So hope to see you all there, and peace.